Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. I'm Tunette, and I'm here with the incredible Dr. Michael Gross. Why don't you say hi?
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
We are really thrilled to be here tonight. We have a wonderful message for you, and Dr. Michael Gross is going to share that momentarily. I just want to say that I will put all his contact information in the comments, and that way you'll be able to reach out to him at any time, and you'll be able to, also his YouTube channel, because a lot of our recordings are right there on his YouTube channel. And we'd like to make sure that you have an opportunity to reach out to Michael anytime you want, in any form you want, okay? So I'll give you a little heads up on Michael, and then we're going to go right to the topic, okay? Dr. Michael Gross is a professional keynote speaker, an energy transformational coach, entrepreneur, and the author of The Spiritual Primer. Applying God's 12 transformational laws to reawaken your soul by reconnecting to God, the true source, to experience your true source's joy, love, and happiness. Michael has been in this field of working with the true source and the world of spirituality for over 30 years. And he is here to help you achieve your unlimited life. He is a phenomenal gentleman. He saved my life. He woke up my soul one day, and maybe someday we'll tell you that. But for now, I just want to say that he has changed my life, and I've seen his ripple effect on how he's changing so many other lives. The man is truly, truly, truly a blessing in our world. So please welcome Dr. Michael Gross. And our topic tonight is addictions. I'm going to go ahead and mute out. Okay, Michael, but it's all yours.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining me. When I asked the true source, what should I speak about this afternoon, I heard addictions. And I'd like to identify addictions. Of course, we know addictions is something that we use as a placebo to make us feel good. That's one definition of addictions. So it could be drugs, alcohol, food, even clothing, or other types of addictions. And those are the other types I'd like to address. One of the other types of addictions has to do with self worth, self love, and self esteem. There's that old theme again, and worthiness. It's an addiction to relationships. And that's what's so important to understand relationships. And if we need to understand relationships, there's an addiction. It's all about feeling better, feeling good about yourself, and also justifying your means and actions. For example, sometimes we're addicted to, we always have to be right. We don't like criticism. We get angry, upset. In other words, we like being stroked. Well, I don't know of anybody that doesn't like being stroked, even if they say, oh, no, you don't have to. It sure feels nice. You have to admit that. And I love to hear positive words as well. But also, I have to take a look at addictions of what propels me, what makes me do things, why do I overeat or don't eat, why do I get angry, upset, why do I cry? And the addiction is, why do I keep attracting certain challenges in my life? And that's what I desire to talk about, the challenges you're addicted to. Many of you don't realize, but let's say you have a relationship, obviously, with your parents. And let's say one of the spouses, one of your parents, was mean and angry, or they didn't show very much love. And there's a subconscious thought, I'm going to have a relationship or marry or have a boyfriend or girlfriend just like my dad or mom. And they're going to love me, and I'm going to prove to myself and them I can have someone just like you in my life, and they're going to treat me royally and love me and spoil me. Guess what? You end up with egg on your face because after a while, it does not work. And then you have another relationship and another relationship, and it keeps falling apart. And then, if we look at relationships, we have to understand what you are seeking, what you're looking for, you're going to bring into your life. So, if I were to talk to most people, they say, well, you've been married 4 times, and you've had the same kind of relationship as your mom and dad. I don't do it exactly that way. I help them understand why they did it and who they did it and the reason. And once that is done, they go, no, I don't want to do it. And they go into denial. So why do you keep attracting them? You see, we operate at a conscious level, and I'm talking to you at a conscious level. Then there's a subconscious level. We're always comparing the past with the present and always reflecting upon the past, because every decision you make is based on the experience you've had in the past. whether it's 1 second ago or a lifetime ago, and sometimes previous lifetimes. So that's another situation that we're addicted to. And then a person goes into denial, 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 denial. And you know what it is? We used to say denial. Oh, that's a river in Egypt. Denial. But in all accuracy, we have to take a look at being honest with ourselves. And then there's another situation we have to look at. And there's my dog in the background. I don't know if you can hear him. He's agreeing with me. Tell him, Dad. Tell him, Dad. Tell him, Dad. So as you know, this is not rehearsed. It's just as the True Source asked me to talk about. As we're talking about another addiction, it's the addiction that you are always in denial and always have to be right. Well, you don't always have to be right because these challenges come up in your life. Why? For you to take a look at it. And when you take a look at it, it's for you to say, how does this serve me? Why am I addicted to this and keep bringing it back into my life? And therefore, you're trying to prove something. Another addiction is you may or may not be aware of. You didn't feel loved by a spouse or maybe a family member or whatever, but it goes back to your childhood, to your mom and dad, who you didn't live or feel loved by. Maybe you were adopted or you had a stepfather or stepmother, but whatever it was very impressionable upon you. But there is another kind of addiction. And therefore, if you find out that your father or mother, maybe passed away, or maybe they got divorced and the other spouse got married and you grew up with that spouse and their husband, there's an addiction that you felt unworthy and you're trying to prove you're worthy and you have a fear of abandonment. And you're going to attract situations that those souls are going to abandon you in your lifetime. And you're going to prove to them, nope, I can have them love me and I'm not going to feel abandoned. Well, congratulations. You end up with egg on your face. Many of you who are listening to this, I would appreciate some comments, in the later times after you hear this and you think about it. So understand your addictions. You're trying to prove something. Well, if you have an addiction in your life, it's a challenge. And the addiction says to you, plain, unadulterated words, you really feel worthy. And why are you attracting this into your life? That's what it's really saying. Why? And I sit there and go, well, why? Because you're trying to prove something. And there's an old saying, not mine, not the True Source's. Argue for your limitations and you own them. So here we get yes, but, yes, but, yes, but, yes, but. And it's like, listen to what you're saying. And then you go into denial and you justify everything. You don't have to justify anything. You have to look at it and say, oh, I'm worth more than this. I'm worthy more than this. I don't have to go through this anymore. Now I can know what I came here to learn. And that's what's so important. To you, you'd like to say something.
I do. Thank you, Michael. I love your background, by the way. He's awesome. My question is, when people use the word addiction, it's so easy that we right away start thinking alcohol and drugs. Mm-hmm. And I'm understanding what you're saying is that are we addicted to like people like our parents and their behaviors? Are we addicted to like shopping as a therapy? Are we addicted to, there are different kinds of addictions, I guess is what I'm asking, right?
Right. Let's call it an emotional addiction.
Okay.
All right. And so we look at an emotional addiction. It has to do with self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem. Okay. So attracting those partners or people in your life that reject you or judge you or whatever you want to call it. I'm just expanding these thoughts. Then there's the physical addiction, which is food, drugs, alcohol, smoking, whatever it may be. Could be an addiction that you have to have certain types of clothing. You have to present an image. All these addictions that you have to drive a car, people have to appreciate you. You want to be wealthy, buy a lot of bling or a fancy car because you're trying to prove everything because you never had self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem. So if we look at that addiction, it's a broad spectrum. It's more than we can realize. And I'm sure many souls that are listening to me right now are looking at a lot of other addictions that they're having in their life. The addiction could be, you have to have a neat home, you have to clean all the time, or the addiction is you get depressed or anxiety ridden, or you don't like to clean the house, you keep a messy house, a messy office. Whatever the addictions are, this is something deep within you, which is tied to your ego, that says you're not worthy. Now, are you worthy of life? Yes. But I want you to take me figuratively, not literally, when I say you're not worthy. It means whatever is going in your life, you don't feel is right for you. So I'm really narrowing it down. And it's so interesting how we look at it. I once had a client and she was talking to me, and her mother was too busy working. So her aunt brought her up. And she looked at her aunt as a mother because her mother was always working. Now the aunt celebrated her birthdays and graduation of high school and college, brought her all kinds of toys, clothing, helped her out with all kinds of things, taught her. And she was addicted to being like her aunt. Well, I said, when she came to me, I love my aunt and everything, but I weigh 350 pounds and, I can't take off weight. Okay. And she told me all the wonderful things her aunt did. And she kept saying, I want to be like my aunt. I'm addicted. She didn't say that, but I want to be just like my aunt. So she was addicted to being like her aunt. Well, she said, tell me about your aunt. Oh, she was loving, she was caring, she did all these things. What does she look like? Oh, she weighs about 350, 375 pounds. She was addicted to that behavior, the love, and wanted to imitate her aunt. Well, her aunt's a kind, loving woman that weighed 350, 375 pounds. That's why she did. And she didn't realize it was so subconscious. Because remember, we're always comparing the past with the present, and our belief system has to do with it. So what happens is that when she realized it, we did some more healing and exercises. She began to take off weight, and she got down to 120 pounds or 130 pounds, which was really great. So it's beautiful, it was wonderful, and very, very caring. So this is how we get addicted to emotions, feelings, and images. As we get older, we want to look younger. Men go through male menopause, they want to buy a sport car, they want to look differently. Women go through all kinds of menopause and feelings and emotions. Now that's not a judgment, it's part of our life. And if we have to understand part of our life, what is it telling us? It's telling us that we have to change our lives. And that's so important. Hold on, everybody. Sorry. As I said, this is unrehearsed. I apologize for him. But he thinks he's guardian of the estate, which is a house and some property. But he always comes to me. He's my early warning system. He's my siren. He's my watchdog. So he's pretty great. But I'm glad he's kind of barking and he's doing those things, even though it's a little bit annoying. And that is because you all know this is unrehearsed and it's as natural as it can be. I'd like to get back to, I'm just checking our clock, I'd like to get back to what I was addressing. So addressing what we're talking about, what propels us, what makes us do the things we do. Well, think about that. Everything in your life is a lesson. Everything in life is something you to grow and learn from. When I was in marketing and sales, and I traveled around the US and sometimes foreign countries, I had one saying, don't tell me what I'm doing right. I know what I'm doing right. Tell me what I'm doing wrong so I can correct it. Because my ego wasn't that big. It was like, yeah, if my sales and money and income's saying I'm doing things right, it's pretty obvious. But tell me what I'm doing wrong so I can enhance my work, my pleasure, and make your life, that means my clients, more complete and happy. And I still practice that to this day. Don't tell me what I'm doing right. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. So when I say that, of course, you have to have a filter, because in the kind of work we're doing right now, outside of marketing and sales, we're in the business of healing. We're in the business of bringing joy. Now let's remove that word business, and we're into helping others find self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem. That's what it's all about, to bring about a change in your emotions of life. So it's no longer a business, it's a service. And that's what I'm doing as a service to help you, and to you does as a service. It's a service to opening up your heart and soul to say, what do I need to change in my life? What do I need to heal? And so many times we will defend, well, I'm this way because. And the answer is, well, that's a great idea. How's it serving you? Well, I'm upset, I'm angry, I can't control my diet, I can't keep a job, I have terrible relationships, one, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, do you think maybe let's take a little change? And the true sources said, we only need to change our lives and start the ball rolling, a 3-degree change. And the example was from -1 to a neutral 0 to a +1. So minute. But think about this minute little change in our understanding of what we're experiencing, why we're experiencing it. It is helping us to grow. I'll use an example. So let's say I'm going to measure out a road, and this road's going to be a mile long, and I have a marker, and I'm starting at one end, and I have to end up at the other end where there's a bridge. So I take a spike, and I put it exactly where my starting point is. However, I'm 1/32nd of an inch off. That's all I am. 1 mile down the road, I end up being 10 or 12 or 14 feet off, or some similar number. So don't hold me to that exactly 12 or 14 feet off, but you get the example. That minor little tiny bit down the road, a mile down the road, begins to throw you off. So a little tiny change from a -1% to a neutral 0 to a +1, 3 degrees, that's all, can change your life. Because life is never stationary. Life keeps moving forward and growing and growing. And this is what's really exciting. We talk about this in the age of Aquarius, truth coming up. And as I understand, I believe I was told Gemini was going to go in Aquarius sometime in the middle of July of 2025. And that even exposes more truth, more secrets, more hidden agendas. Well, if we look at it politically, we look at it country-wise, yeah, but it's also your life. And these are what you're being asked to change. We look around and see all the earth changes, and the earth changes is because Mother Earth is going through what I call a rebirth, a new beginnings. She's going through all that stuff. You are being challenged because you're going through a rebirth, new beginnings. So, you can turn around and say, nope, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do it my way, the highway. Perfect. I think that's great. But each time you build up a heavier and bigger barrier, and that -1, 0 to a +1, 3-degree change becomes a 10, a 20, 30, 40, 50, 80-degree change, or an 80-degree block. That's where you're being led into a trap. You're listening to ego. I see so many times, and I hear so many times, a suggestion is offered. And this suggestion, not only from me, but others, it is correct. And how I watch people defend their decision that was wrong and defend their actions. And I say to many people, don't defend it. Just say, okay, let me take a look at it. Or yes, I'll change, or take a look, or see if it fits. That's all. Don't give me a litany of information. Why? You know why? Because you're building up more opposition, a bigger wall, and more of a challenge to overcome. So instead of defending, say, yeah, I think I'm going to try it, or let me take a look at it. Again, argue for your limitations and you own them. Whatever you've done in the past, you've done in the past. Whatever you've done in the past, you learned something. It's as simple as going out to a restaurant and say, I like their food. Michael, try it. I like their food. Or going to a restaurant and say, Michael, I don't like that food. That's cool. I'm not going to question you why or ask you why. That's your opinion. That's your thoughts. I might go to the same restaurant you dislike and say, wow, that's really fabulous. We have a restaurant here that has Argentina food and all kinds of beautiful things. And my friend, terrible. I took a group of people there. We loved it. Okay. So that's his opinion, and certainly he's entitled to it. But I decided, because I like the food, I never tried that restaurant, to try it, and it turned out to be really great. So all of us have opinions and all of us have thoughts, but we must always remain open to a possible change. And if you understand at this time of your life, because of the layout of planets, and the energy changing on the planets, because of our thoughts, we're given the opportunity to review our belief system, to really be open to our belief system and realize that change is positive. Just think, I was saying back when we turned 1900, the greatest fear of the nation was, are we going to have enough horses for the rising population? What happened? We had the car. Said you can't fly anything. We had the Wright brothers. Oh, you can't go to the moon. We went to the moon, or wherever we went. And then they had Dick Tracy. Some of you may not know that, talking to a watch. Well, they have a phone that has a watch. I don't know if it's available anymore, but I remember seeing it. All these things are for those souls who said, hey, I'm going to make a change. I'm going to use my imagination. I'm going to create positivity. So you see, change comes with your imagination. And the imagination says, I'm unhappy. What would it feel like to be happy? And just look up in the air and think about it. Oh, wow. What do I need to be happy? So right now, the average soul goes, I need a roadmap. I need a way to do it. No, you don't. You don't need that at all. You see, because your soul already knows what brings you joy and happiness. Not your ego, but your soul. Your ego is self-gratifying. The soul says, we're going to show you what works and doesn't work in your life. And that's what's most important. As I'm looking at the clock, I notice we're winding down. But I desire all of you to understand, at this point in your life, I don't care where you live on the planet, I don't care what your religious background is, I don't care your ethnic group, etc., etc., etc. Whatever it is, this is the time your soul is saying, let go of those addictions of the past and be prepared for the unlimited present. And whatever you enjoy and love in the now, the present becomes your future. Think about that, because everything you're here for is to experience and let go of the change in the past. It's like what Rousseau said, are you a slave of your fears, the master of your life? Thank you all for joining me, and I appreciate it. A couple of things I'd like to encourage you to listen to and take part of. And every Tuesday night from 6:30 p.m. Pacific time to 7:30 p.m., it's called Soul Awakening. It's on freeconferencecall.com, so it means you just call in a number, Tia will give it to you, and join us. No matter what you may know, how spiritual, how conscious you are of so many things, I invite you, because, yeah, you've got a plethora of information. Maybe you've forgotten, or maybe you don't remember, and this will tickle your memory to remember. Oh, yes. So what have you got to lose? 1 hour of your time? And the cost is opening your mind and your heart and your soul to enlightenment and empowerment. Therefore, Tia, give them that information where they can join us.
Absolutely. That number is 202-926-1059. And the access code, Michael?
125-446-pound. One more time, please.
Yep. 202-926-1059. And the code, Michael?
125-446-pound. I always like to do that. Join us. And your energy joining us will make a difference, because together, when we have an open mind and we want to learn and grow, it creates what we call the 100th monkey system. In other words, our thoughts, touch other people. And we'll talk about the 100th monkey syndrome later. Also, using the same telephone number, the same access code, the second Saturday of every month from 9:55 a.m. Pacific time to 11:01 Pacific time. We do the mass consciousness healing. We chat for a couple of minutes. Where you're from? How are you? And then after we do all that information, what we do is go into a meditation, and you actually become a conduit, part of the true source of unconditional love. And then you come like this beautiful vessel that covers the planet with unconditional love. It is so beautiful, so wonderful. I'm going to close the door a little bit. And it's so wonderful that it will change your month, your life, and be very, very empowering. So I thought I'd share all that with you. And it's once a month. You can be in your pajamas early in the morning. Nobody will know. But you'll make a difference, because you see, each one of us came here at this time to realize we are the solution, and we are to make a difference on the planet. Tio, give him that information one more time.
We got to. I'm also putting all these in numbers that Michael's giving us. I mean, that we're giving you right now into the comments. Okay. So just that mass consciousness healing is at 202-926-1059, and the access code, Michael.
125-446 pound. And I'll give it again one more time.
202-926-1059, and the code, Michael.
125-446 pound. So thank you. And one more, and that is on every Tuesday evening that we do Soul Awakening, I deliver a 10-minute message. And as I said, there are probably 394.95. And if you're stuck in traffic, if you're driving somewhere, or perhaps you had a fight with your spouse, or you're feeling depressed, ask to listen to one of those messages. It's so important. And what I'd like you all to know, they're not labeled. And as you know by now, I forgot to label them. The True Source said, no, you didn't. You want to read through 390 different titles? No. Trust your soul. Maybe it's 247, 250, or whatever it is. Tio, tell them how to get in touch with that.
Absolutely. The recording number is 434-300-4170. And the code, Michael?
125-446 pound. One more time?
Sure. 434-300-4170. And the code, Michael?
125-446 pound. So I want to thank all of you for doing that, and remind you to join us next Thursday. I also offer you a complimentary session, and take me up on it. Give me a ring, but as they call me, old school. Do not text me. Call me. And of course, you can leave me a voice message, then text me. So what I say, oh, somebody called me, I either look for the voice message or I look for a text. And I like the text because in case I misplace the number, and then I will get back to you as quickly as I can. And I'm not going to try to convince you of anything, just offer some suggestions, see if I can help you, and then you make whatever decisions you want. Therefore, I just wanted to pass that on to all of you. Also, if you go to Dr. Michael B. Gross YouTube, you can see some of what I call the reruns. There's a beautiful photographs taken by award-winning photographer, as you know by now, to you, with one of my quotes and a verbal message. They're not all listed there, but that'll give you an idea of what you might enjoy. And also all our YouTube's presentations for the last several years, you can watch what I call the reruns. And that would be a wonderful thing for you to do, because it'll remind you of so many different things. With those thoughts in mind, I want you to know that Tio and I are doing this, and we're doing this because we love you. We want to see you become successful. We want to enhance your life. And that's why we're doing this, and we ask you to spread it. Well, the last part is, this is being brought to you by... No, it's not a new improved tide. It's Healing the Holes in Your Soul, a beautiful book about a beautiful soul named Tio, who went through literally trials and tribulations and the fire of existence, learning about self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem. And it's like the phoenix, reborn and rebirth. It's a book of inspiration. It's a book of joy. It's a book of self-empowerment. So I encourage all of you, take advantage and read this book.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for your very kind words, and thank you for writing the foreword in my book, because that was an empowering message as well. But I highly recommend that everybody start with this one, The Spiritual Primer by Dr. Michael Gross. He has the most amazing information in here and so many tools to help you move through your life challenges. And I know this is this is available on sale, not on sale, but there's a selling price for it. But to me, this book is priceless. This book is one of the things that I hold near and dear to my heart next to Michael, because if it wasn't for Michael and the tools that he gives us in this book, the book he's holding wouldn't even be in existence. And we would not even be doing this YouTube, and we would not be sharing the messages that he shares. So truly, truly, truly take him up on his complimentary consultation. You'll be so glad you did, because we all need to start looking at how we can give ourselves self-love, self-worth, and self-esteem. It starts with us, and all the answers that we need are deep inside us. And if you can't find them on the inside, look in here in this book, because in this book, it will give you the tools to talk to Michael and figure out what you're missing. Okay? So on that note, Michael, is there anything else we want to share? Holidays, birthdays, anything like that coming up?
Yes. Everyone, I want to also share that everything you do in life creates some kind of an experience. And it's time for us to think about what is going on. I've talked to many people, some clients in other countries all around the world, literally speaking, or figuratively speaking, rather, all around the world. But there's a lot of chaos. And so I'm going to ask all of you, do not react, act. The fight or flight or frozen syndrome. So act and use critical thinking. Don't believe everything you hear or see. Take it figuratively, examine it, and be careful when you fact check who you're going to fact check with. Because if you fact check, some are still politically motivated throughout this country, throughout this world. So I'd like to say to our American friends, you have July 4th coming up. Celebrate the birth of the country. Each one of you have your own country. When you have your equivalent to that, whatever it may be, the birth of your country, and celebrate freedom and celebrate you who are here at a time because you chose to be here, to be part of rebirth of Mother Earth, rebirth of spirituality, and rebirth of enlightenment. Everyone have a great day, a great week. Join us next week. And one other thing, if you want to check me out, go to drmichaelbgross.com. There's beautiful, wonderful information on my website created by TU. And I appreciate all the work. Tells you a little bit more about what I do and what I'm all about. So thank you, everyone. And remember, you are unlimited. Namaste, everyone. Take care. We love you.
Love you. Thank you, Michael.